This video is going to be all about credit cards and QuickBooks Online. So we're going to set up a new credit card. We're going to talk about how to get the information about the credit card. We're going to talk about linking that credit card to an account and paying that credit card. So let's dig in. When we're setting up a new credit card in QuickBooks, we're going to do the same thing that we've done with other accounts that we've set up. We need to first go to the chart of accounts and get this account set up. So I'm going to go over to the left navigation bar to chart of accounts, and I'm going to say add new. So this account type is credit card. When you click Save Account Under, you only have one choice, credit cards. And Tax Form section, again, you only have one choice, and that's credit card. We're going to call this account Fossil Bank Credit Card. And we'll assign it an account number because we're using account numbers. If you're not using account numbers, you're going to leave this blank. So we'll assign it the number 20300. The 2 is because it's a liability. And then you could put in the description, for example, the last 4 digits of the account number if you wanted something that's going to identify this further. And then this shows the balance sheet view. It's going to turn up on the balance sheet under credit cards, and we hit save. The next thing we want to talk about is the way we get these transactions to show up in QuickBooks. So we're going to go to the left nav bar to banking, and we're going to come here to our banking center. Now, if we were using a live account with a bank, we would go over here and do link account. So we're going to go over here to link account, and we're going to click the down arrow and say upload from file. And as with other bank accounts, we have a variety of formats that we can use downloading from our bank. So we're going to download this to our computer, and then we're going to upload it to QuickBooks. So I'm going to go find my file. Now, I have not tried to upload this file yet, so I don't know whether it's going to work or not. I just want you to know that I do all my own accounting stunts. So let's hit continue and see what happens. So we want to tell QuickBooks that this is for our new Fossil Bank credit card account. Is the first row a header? Yes, it is. How many columns show amounts? In this case, it is 1 column. Usually there would be 2 because you would have payments on one side and money spent on the other side, but ours only has 1. And then it wants to know what date format we used, and we used this one. So then QuickBooks is going to try to match up our fields. What field in your spreadsheet matches up to QuickBooks fields? So we've got date and we've got date, description and description. QuickBooks grab those automatically. And then the column that we want QuickBooks to find with the amount in it is going to be the column called spent. Again, if you had 2 columns with amounts in it, we would be assigning those accounts either to money in or money out. So we'll click to continue. So here it's showing us all of the transactions that it's bringing in. We want to say select the transactions to import and click continue. Fingers crossed. Come on. So here we are, our import is completed. And when we come back to banking, you can see that now our Fossil Bank credit card is set up as one of the tiles in our banking feed. So we want to go here, and we can see that all of our transactions have pulled in. But like with our bank accounts, some of them didn't pull in correctly. QuickBooks is trying to say, oh, really, it's probably this account. So I know that Pebbles Coffee Stop is indeed meals, and I want to change the payee to Pebbles Coffee Stop because it's someplace that we go to a lot. And this is a vendor, and we can say add because we're happy with this. Actually, before we do that, because it is someplace that we go to regularly, let's create a rule. So the name of this rule is going to be Pebbles Coffee Shop. It is money out. It is our Fossil Bank credit card account. And the rule that we're setting up says that if the description coming from the bank is Pebbles Coffee Stop, then we want this rule to apply. And the rule that we're going to apply is that this is an expense and the category is meals, the payee is Pebbles, and now every time this transaction turns up, QuickBooks is automatically going to make those changes. And you'll see that has disappeared from our list here. Now the next one is Fossil. Well, Fossil is actually called Fossil Fuel, and it is a gas station. So we're going to add this as a vendor. We're going to say save. And the same thing that we did with Pebbles Coffee, we're going to create a rule because we get our gas at Fossil Fuel all the time. So the name of the rule is going to be Fossil Fuel, and it's money out, and it's our credit card account. So if the description contains fossil, then what we're going to do is we are going to send this to our account for fuel. So vehicle, gas, and fuel. And the payee is going to be fossil fuel. So we're going to save that rule. Now, every time it comes through from the bank, it's going to automatically apply this rule. And when we did that, our other transaction for fossil fuel immediately said, we know exactly what to do with this. So it applied the rule, it updated the transaction, and off it went. Now, if we go to our bank register for this account, we can see that fossil fuel is right here, and it's applied the same rule to both of those items. Back to banking. Now, let's see. We've got Bam Bam Fast Internet. All right. Again, this is a vendor that we work with all of the time. So we're going to come in here and we're going to say Bam Bam Fast Internet. We're going to add this vendor, and then we want to come over here to our cost of goods sold account because this is not the account that we told it we wanted it to go to. We wanted it to go to this Internet and TV Services account. And this happens in QuickBooks a lot. It comes in tagged as something else that you didn't necessarily want. That's why these rules are so helpful. So we're going to apply a rule here called Bam Bam Fast Internet. And we're going to say if the description contains Bam Bam Fast Internet, then we want it to go to an expense called Internet and TV. We're going to put the payee in there, and we're going to save this rule. So now every time a transaction feeds through from the bank for Bam Bam Fast Internet, it's going to automatically match it up for us. Now let's talk about Fred Flintstone's Emporium. First of all, we're going to copy and paste and add this as a vendor. And we did want it to go to this cost of goods sold account. And this is specifically for supplies and materials. Now in this case, I'm not going to create a rule for this, because sometimes we buy rocks from the Emporium and sometimes we buy office supplies. So I don't want this to automatically go to an account. I want this to turn up in my bank feed, and I'm going to choose where I want it to go. All right, so our next one is Barney and Betty's equipment rental. So again, I'm going to add them as a vendor, and you only have to do this once. Now, when I brought this in, I wanted it to go to equipment rental because that's what we do with Barney and Betty's, is we rent equipment. So it brought it into a different account. I'm going to change that. And I know that this is always going to be equipment rental. So I'm going to make a rule, and you can see that it's already filled out all of those things for us. So all we need to do is add the name of this rule, which is Barney and Betty's equipment rental. And we're going to hit save. All right, so Stickersaurus LLC. We're going to copy and paste this as a payee and add Stickersaurus as a vendor. And we wanted this to go to advertising and marketing. We can create a rule, and that rule is going to be called Stickersaurus, and everything else will stay the same, which brings us to our final transaction. So it brought it through as lucky. So what we want to do here is we're going to add this payee. We're going to add a new vendor called Bad Luck Schleprock's Hazmat Suits. If you grew up watching Flintstones, all of this is really hilarious. And this was not for meals. This is for supplies. So we're going to put it to this cost of goods sold account for materials and supplies. Now, we always buy hazmat suits from Bad Luck Schleprock's because why would you buy anywhere else? So we're going to name the rule Bad Luck Schleprock's Hazmat Suits. QuickBooks is going to tell us they don't like the apostrophe. We're going to take that out, and then they're going to be like, oh, okay, we're good now. So there we are. We're all done categorizing our current expenses. Now, once these accounts are linked to a bank, there will be here an update button. So you can always get the most recent transactions as soon as you hit that update button. Now we've set up a new credit card account in QuickBooks, and we have imported our transactions and talked about how to link that to a bank. Now, let's talk about paying that credit card. We currently have a balance of $2,845.30. At some point in time, we're going to have to pay it. Now, there are several ways to do that. The easiest way is to let your bank bring that information in. And what will happen is it will bring it in on both the checking account side and from Fossil Bank credit card account. So it's going to have both pieces of that transaction, the money coming out of your bank account and the money being applied to Fossil Bank credit card as a payment. But when it comes through from the bank, you're going to have to go in and make sure that it's going to the right place. And this is done using a transfer. So within that bank feed for the checking account, you're going to see that transaction come in. It's going to come in usually as an uncategorized asset, and you can go in and change that uncategorized asset to our Fossil Bank credit card account. Then on the Fossil Bank credit card account, and you're going to change that to be your First Dino Operations checking account. And then it will want to match those transactions up, and then you're good to go. Now, another way that you can pay a credit card in QuickBooks is to come over to your Plus New button, and then over in this Other section, you come down to the very bottom, Pay Down Credit Card. So in this Pay Down Credit Card window, we're going to enter the card that we're paying, and this is coming from our chart of accounts. We're going to enter the payee, so Fossil Bank, for example. How much did you pay, the date of the payment, and what did you use to make this payment? So if you did this as a payment from your checking account, then you're going to choose that account here. And when you save and close, it's going to automatically apply that payment to that credit card. In this case, we're going to get out of there because there's another method that I want to show you. So another method for paying a credit card would be to come to your Plus New button and to do it as a check. So if you write a check for your credit card, then you're going to come here just like you were writing any other check. So this is an entering it on the fly kind of check rather than a enter accounts payable and pay it later kind of situation. So in this case, we would choose our payee. We would tell it which bank account it's coming from, our First Dino Operations, for example, the check number, all of the typical things you would fill out for a check. And then down here in the category, what we're going to choose is that credit card account that we have set up for Fossil credit card. And then when we save and close this, it's going to apply that payment to your credit card and record your payment. And again, we're not going to save anything here because there's yet another way for paying a credit card. So we're going to get out of here. So when you reconcile your accounts, you're going to be reconciling your bank accounts, but you're also reconciling your credit card accounts. And we've got a lesson coming up for reconciling after this one. So once all of your transactions are done for the month for that credit card account, you're going to get a statement from your bank with that credit card information on it. It's going to show all of your charges, it's going to show your payments, and then you're going to actually reconcile the account. When you reconcile the account, you're going to put in the ending balance, you're going to click off all of those transactions that appear on the statement, and then at the end of it, once it's reconciled, you're going to have the option of paying the credit card at that point in time. So once you do your statement balance, it's going to say, okay, you've got the statement balance due. What do you want to do with it? Do you want to pay it now? You want to pay it later? So that's another way that you can make a credit card payment. And this is all personal preference, business rules, however you want to handle it, whichever way makes the most sense. So in the next video, we're going to look at the next step for our bank accounts. We're going to look at our bank reconciliation portion of this. So stay tuned.